If you've ever felt like you cannot talk about the fact that you're an introvert, or if you have told that to someone and if they have rolled their eyes at you, or if you have felt like there was something wrong with you all your life until you knew you are an introvert, welcome here, my friend. I'm here to rant today for a few minutes about exact same things. Now, why I'm doing that? Well, I'm doing that because sometimes I feel like the awareness of a problem solves the problem more than 50%. And sometimes being listened to, being felt relatable to, like you're not alone, it does more than what a solution can do. So the very first thing I want to talk about is feeling like there is something wrong with you. Now, I and you were fortunate enough to have access to internet and to have the ability to search what an introversion is, and somehow we got to know there are things like introversion and extroversion. But think about someone who hasn't known that all their lives. And so my heart goes out to them because they might have felt like there was something wrong all their lives. It took me 18 years to figure out there was nothing wrong with me. I was just an introvert. But as I have probably talked about it before, I feel like the world was made for extroverts and it rewards people with those kind of traits. And so people like us, introverted people, find it hard to adjust, and especially in their teenagers or childhood years, they feel like there is something wrong with them because they don't seem to enjoy what most people think life is all about. And when you're surrounded with a kind of culture where this knowledge isn't much known, you might actually believe those things. Anyways, since you're here, you definitely don't belong to that small group of people. I believe and I hope they are small. So congratulations. The second thing I want to talk about is we miss a lot of opportunities because people assume things about us. I have this really good example. So there was this guy in my class who was a backbencher and a really silent kind of person. And everyone thought that he wouldn't be able to perform well when it came to one impromptu activity. And he performed better than all the best kids in my class. All the class that we thought would perform very well, he performed better than everyone else, and it was impromptu. It wasn't something he could have practiced ever because, well, he was just forced to do it on the stage right in that moment. Now, had he not been given the chance to do that activity, we would have never known that he was good at this thing, because I'm 100% sure no one would have ever imagined that he could be that great. Well, that includes me, and that shows how many opportunities introverts miss just because of this bias of ours. Another thing that I want to talk about, which is quite related to this one, is we assume things about ourselves. So what happens is, since we generally don't like to be around people, we assume that we would not like activities which would involve people, which is, in my opinion, very, very wrong. If you ask me, if you have a lot of passion for the thing that you want to do, you will forget about the people around you. And so that way you will not limit your experience. We tend to be very picky and we tend to shrink the bubble of activities that we think we can do. But the truth is, sometimes you will need just one or two steps. Sometimes you will just need to do something for a couple times to realize that the pain of being around people is much more lesser than the joy of doing that thing. So yes, I do believe that there are a lot of potential careers, hobbies, interests that we might be missing simply because we are assuming things about ourselves. One more thing I want to talk about is feeling misunderstood. So introversion is this huge spectrum where on one end we have this stereotypical version of an introvert who is really shy, doesn't talk to anyone, sits by himself and things like that. And then there are people somewhere in the middle and somewhere on the right end. And I want to talk about people who are introverts, yes, but they are very good with people as well. For example, this is just one example of a variant of an introverted person. So this person might go out and be the life of the party one day, and the other day they might feel like they don't want to interact with anyone. And then they would get questions like, hey, are you all right? Is there something wrong? Oh, or were you just pretending to be someone you were not? Was it just an act? Which version of you is the real one? I'm sure that you have heard at least one variant of the things that I'm talking about. I have avoided talking about the fact that I was an introvert for such a long time because people used to assume that I was an extrovert just because I tend to mix up well with people. And it was hard to explain to them that introversion and extroversion is not really just about being able to talk or not talk. It is a difficult discussion if you're having it with an audience that isn't quite aware of such things. But now I have learned that whatever I am, whoever I am, is entirely my business, and I don't have the need to explain to anyone why I act a certain way. So if you are being misunderstood, you don't really have to correct that misunderstanding. I've learned that sometimes I did want to correct that misunderstanding if it was with someone I was close to or someone I wanted to understand me. But in cases where it was just about random people, I would let them assume whatever they wanted, because that would have drained my energy much more than just letting them assume whatever they wanted to. The last one is a really fun thing. I am sure that each one of you will relate to it. When you are in your zone for a really long time, let's say for a couple days, a week, you are comfortable in your own place and you are doing whatever you want and you don't really have anything social to go to, and you are in your heaven, and then you have to go out and you feel like you're a monkey in a zoo. It's just so hard to interact with people when you have been detached for a long period of time. It kind of reminds you are an introvert if you have forgotten about it. But I really like it when that happens. I don't know why is that, but I really like it. That was all for my ranting today. I promise I will return to this gossip station once again soon. Till then, for all the introverts out there fighting, you can do it. You're not alone. We are all in this together. We can live. Yes!